Yo, what is up guys, This Gaming back with another video, and we are going to do the strength crit Feca build testing on the beta server. I don't know how optimized my set is right here. I know there's probably better options, but this is what I put together to compare it the best to the previous sets of the previous elements. So this is it. It is full, because of course it is a crit strength build. Full bleeding heart, amulet, boots, cape. I got a double browsy because the belt actually gives 6 crits and it's nice strength as well. So double set bonus. The set bonus of the browsy got buffed last time around, so it gives 5 crits. So the ring doesn't give crits, but at least the set bonus gives another 5, which is cool. I only got the ring, the corruption ring, because the set bonus is MP. I don't care about the MP anyway. So the corruption ring, 7 crits. Turtalonia hat for 5 crits, and the cat's eye bow. I could have gone for the Turtalonia weapon, but then I would have had to add a lot of stats to agility, and I didn't want to do that. So I chose to go with the cat's eye bow. We got the Colo pet's mount, 120 strength, 15% crits, Dofuses, and the strength trophy. Like the agility build, I will start out with the Captain Uncommon Shield and play close combat. I will switch it up to the 4-leaf later on to see any differences and to see if it is better to go CC or range with this build. But yeah, let's go over the stats. 11 AP, 6 MP, 5 range, which isn't important for strength build. But we got almost 1400 strength, 110 power, so about almost 1500 stats, a little bit less. Keep in mind these items are maxed out on the beta, so let's say 1450 stats. 73% crits. Now I think this could be higher if I went with the double Turtalonia. That would add 10 crits, but I will go with this. It's fine. We got 91 critical damage and 134 earth damage. Resistances, I don't care, but it's decent. Let's go over the strength spells first. We got Backlash, and these spells don't steal stats anymore. They only remove stats from the enemy. No more stealing of stats. Keep in mind that, guys. So yeah, Backlash. I need to check the AoE. This used to be a diagonal spell, but I think you can cast it just for range, I think. I don't know. We'll have to test this. Well, we got Tethany, whatever you want to call it. 1 range, so it's a close combat spell. They changed this one to be earth damage. So Feca no longer has neutral damage spells. Same goes for blindness, which is now called drowsiness. It is now an earth damage spell. Both of them still do AP reduction like they did before, but they are now earth damage spells. So we can test either of these out. We got this. We got the drowsiness. We got this spell, which used to be dazzling. It's now called Gather the Flock. It is a 4 AP spell in a circle, which pulls the enemies to cells. So that's why it's more like a close combat build, to be honest. We got Torpor, 3 AP. This used to remove dodge from the enemies. Now it has a little bit more range, but it pulls the enemy to cells. We got Refuge. It is a 15% damage reduction. It shows that it has AoE, so I'm interested in how this spell works. And we got, of course, the Glyph. Keep in mind, guys, the Glyph, so it still does do AP reduction. However, if you are in the Glyph as a Feca, you don't lose the AP. You are not affected by this. You will gain 25% earth resistance, but you don't lose the AP. So that's actually a huge buff. I would suggest, if you're playing a strength Feca, to not go with the cat's eye bow and just go with a melee weapon like daggers or something like that, or a sword, maybe even, I don't know, Picari. Just go with a weapon that has good stats with crits, but can hit in melee, because, yeah. Let's go start a fight. Also, no cosmetics this time. I didn't want to bother with that. So let's start out with Backlash. So Backlash now isn't only diagonal or linear anymore. It is just a 4-range spell. You can cast it at range. However, I am in a melee build, so let's go hit CC. So Backlash, boom. 990 damage. You can cast it twice. 800 damage, no crit. Does the stat stealing doesn't stack, by the way, so it's limited to once. So this is the old blindness. You can cast it on yourself. It has pretty decent range. It does AP reduction. About the same damage as Backlash, I think. No, Backlash actually does more damage. Although I feel like the damage difference... Oh yeah, here you can clearly see the damage difference, of course. Boom, 1100 damage. And this one does about a little bit less than 900. And we got Torpor. A little bit less damage than Backlash. But yeah, that's it. And then we got this one. It is... Oh, okay. So this one is interesting. I don't think if you cast it on yourself... Okay, so if you cast this on yourself... you do get the damage sustain and the rest, but you don't deal damage. So technically, I think if you're playing a range build, let's say you cast this on yourself, and your team is in there, you have the damage sustained. So this is actually maybe even better than before, because before you had to cast this on the enemy, and you had to stay like next to the enemy or like one cell off to get the damage sustained. Now you can just cast this on yourself, maybe even on an ally. What if you cast this on an empty cell, though? Okay, and then you go in. Yeah, so you can even cast this on an empty cell. Your team can stay in the glyph. And you get the 85% damage sustained. And you also get the 25% resistance. This is only for the Feca, though. If you want to this on the ally, you have to cast Feca Shield on the ally. But this is pretty cool, actually. But yeah, like I said, I wouldn't suggest playing a bow. Unless you play range build, which you're gonna swap to later. But yeah, so we got the Torpor spell, right? So this one, it's 5 range, and it pulls the enemy closer, like 2 cells. So you can cast it like twice. So let's say 1 and 2, and enemies next to you. I think. Let me actually read. So it attracts and then does damage. So let's say I'm here. And I use the Captain Ankama shield, right? So that is melee damage. Even though I hit from range now, it does count as melee damage because it pulls first and then it does damage. Because look at the difference. If I go here, now it does like 824 to 896. And now it does 947 to 1029. So because it pulls first and then does damage, it does count as melee damage. Let's see if the old Dazzling does the same thing. It attracts. Yeah, so it attracts and then does damage. So this does count as melee damage. So you can just do like this. Boom. Although I would probably go with Torpor. Torpor does a lot more damage. Space. Wait, what is the difference? It's not too big. Like, I just feel like... I feel like the numbers are a little bit off, but I don't know. Because, okay, wait, this does like 1300 damage. So the further away the enemy is... okay. The less damage it does. So now it does like 1100 and... Yeah, so, okay, so that's why it did less damage. So... But is it the same with Torpor? So this is like 1029. 1029. So this is the same. So then I would probably say if you are 2 cells away from the enemy, then Torpor does more damage because it's 3 AP. You can see this is 4 AP, 1053. And this one does 1029. So Torpor is the better option here. And then you can use this 3 AP and then like Backlash twice. I would probably say this is a pretty good build for strength. You could also... I think... Let me actually... Oh, okay. You can actually cast Barrier on yourself. So let's say I go here. Right? Let's say I buff the glyph. Now I can use torpor to pull the guy in the glyph. Boom. 2400 damage. That's crazy, guys. Wow. So let's try that again. If I go and put a glyph here, boom, I do it on myself, right? Then I move here. I buff the glyph damage. And then we go and pull it with torpor. I can actually pull it with dazzling as well. Wow. And that's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Let me actually copy this. I want to share this in the Discord server. Wow. That's actually crazy. All right, so that's about it for these spells. Let me actually try out the variants here. We're gonna go with Tetany, and then probably the glyph. This one. So Tetany in CC. Let me actually go to the other side so it's more clear. Let's actually buff the... Oh wait, so this is the Tetany, right? So I don't think it's too strong because it's 4 AP. Like, unless you're playing an AP reduction build, right? If you do Colo, you probably want to go with Tetany. Although I feel like if you do regular PVM, you want to go with Backlash because it's 3 AP. And with the 3 AP spells, you can do a lot more combos if you're playing... Like, sure, it does do nice damage for 4 AP. But let's say you do this. And let's say you do this one. This. Now I did 3 spells that are all 4 AP. And I did like... what is this? Like 2500 damage, right? 2500 damage. And let's say I go with... Backlash and Refuge. Let's actually go here. So let's go with like double Backlash and Refuge, and then we have Torpor, or well, it doesn't really matter which one I think I pick here. Let's go with Torpor. So this is like over 4k damage instead of like... Wait, this is 30... By the way, this was 3500. Forgive me. So 3500 versus 4k. Because the combination with 3 AP spells is just much better. Let's actually try the glyph out. We haven't done that one yet. And then that's pretty much it for this video. Like I mentioned before, the glyph now doesn't AP reduce yourself anymore. So you can just safely cast this. Maybe like even a gravity glyph. If you do reinforced protection, you will trigger the glyph. And let's say you do backlash twice. Boom. And then pass your turn. Then I just did 3.5k damage on turn 1. And let's say on turn 2, I do like a backlash again. Boom. Boom. I teleport into the glyph to trigger the glyph. That's another 1k damage. And let's say we're gonna do Torpor. And pass the turn. Boom. I just did 8.5k damage in 2 turns. Which is actually pretty nice. And like I mentioned before, apparently you can cast Barrier on yourself. You can do the protection buff. Actually, you know what? I want to actually try one more thing. Let's say I do Barrier. I do the glyph, right? Glyph. I trigger the glyph by using this. Boom. That's 800. Wait, actually, I wanna try this in a new fight, by the way. So let's say new fight, bam. Let's say I'm at 12 AP, right? I put a barrier on myself. I put out the glyph. AP reduce the enemy. I do a reinforced protection, which will trigger this glyph. Does 870 damage. It will also buff barrier. But what I will do then is I will go here. And then I can use this spell to pull it into the glyph. And that's another, like, the spell itself did 1100 damage. And the glyph did like 1300. So together 2400. So I just did. And then I paused my turn, right? Boom. I did 4.3k damage on one single turn using that combo. I can't wait to test out the multi-element build, which I'm gonna be testing out in the next video, so stay tuned for that, guys. If you have any questions or any comments, let me know in the comments below. Check out the previous reviews, the sets testing in the description below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.